We are moving on now. We are going to make our way to London for yet another perspective on sustainability in coworking, which I'm really excited about. I'm going to invite Elliot and Anna to join us. Hi, guys. Hello. Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
Let's try
Morning.
the sound to make sure we hear everyone. Yeah, I hear you both. How
You
are
hear
you
us?
guys? Yeah.
Great.
Good, thank you. Yeah, all good.
We just heard the weather in Brussels is very sunny. How are things in London?
A bit grey and gloomy. Standard London weather, to be honest.
Okay. Typical London weather. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to have the two of you here today, and I would love to start with introduction about the two of you. So, who you are and what do you do for Work.Life?
Shall I go first? So
Yeah.
I'm one of the co-founders. We started the business 6 years ago, 7 years ago now, and
Oh, wow.
I do a bit of everything,
What
whatever everyone else
about
does.
you? Yeah. What no one wants, you take it and you do it.
That's it. Glamorous.
What
Hello.
about you,
So
Anna?
I'm Anna, and I'm an area manager and also sustainability lead here at Work.Life. And I've actually been in the business for almost as long, not as long, for 6 years. So also been involved in different parts, but definitely focusing mostly on membership and now sustainability as well.
Wow. And Elliot, before we dive further into the topic of sustainability, may I ask you what's the story behind Work.Life? How did it all come together?
Sure. Yes, that goes back a few years. I began my career in the corporate world, and like lots of people, I've worked in some great working environments over the years, and some much less great working environments as well. And I know that the difference that this can have and this can make, and it never made sense to me that work should be this thing that we have to do, or at worst that a lot of people dread doing. And we spend enough of our lives doing it, so that never made sense to me. And in the UK, there's some horrible percentage of the working population still that are disengaged in what they do day to day, and that never made sense to me. So at Work.Life, we're on a mission to make people's work lives happier.
Nice. I remember actually the first time we came and visit you, it was in 2016. I think was it your first location, Camden?
Yeah, Camden was our
Yeah.
first location. We've now got 15 locations around the UK, predominantly in London, but also in Manchester and in Reading.
Yeah, it's. I've been really fascinated by how fast you've grown, but also how much you've developed within London, which is also a good bridge to my next question. So, at what point in the journey of Work.Life did you start looking into sustainability, and also why?
So sustainability has been important to us right from the start, and has been an important part of the way that we think from day one, and our priorities. We never quite knew how to structure our thinking or our priorities when we started. It was quite disorganized, and the work that we did was quite sporadic. And it's only relatively recently, kind of 2019 onwards, that we were able to structure our thinking and better organize our thinking around the B Corp framework, which I know we're going to talk about. And that's given us the ability to shape our sustainability strategy around this framework, and really better define our sustainability goals.
When you say it was quite frantic, can you elaborate on what you mean behind that?
Yeah, sure. So I think everyone's got a slightly different version of what it means and what we should be doing, or had a slightly different version. So by frantic, I mean more just disorganized. We were doing work in various different areas, but there was no kind of overarching structure to it. And early on, we were doing things like organizing our the way that we engage with our suppliers. We were looking very carefully around our energy usage. So we were doing various things, but there was no kind of overarching structure or framework to guide us.
And maybe I can ask you, how did you came across B Corp, and what seduced you, or what did you like about it that pushed you to become to look into the framework and to try to apply it to your space when you started?
So how did we find B Corp? I think it's actually obviously B Corp's gone on a crazy journey over the last few years, and it's kind of gone from slightly less known to kind of everybody knows about B Corp now. You can't really avoid B Corp in London, which is fantastic. But we found out about it through our head of marketing, who'd read about it and kind of came up with this hurrah moment that actually there was a way to structure that it would be a good framework for us to structure our goals around sustainability. And we probably spent the first couple of years, it took 6 months to get our head around it and that we'd actually do it, and then a couple of years to get certified, and we can tell you about that.
Hannah, how did you end up becoming then the sustainability lead within the team and pushing this project forward?
Yeah, so I think the success of B Corp and sustainability in our business is the fact that it's really aligned with our values, and everyone in the team is really bought into the idea. Actually, as Elliot mentioned, we started the journey in 2019, so we all know what happened in 2020, right?
Yes.
So the pandemic came, and we're kind of in the process of this B Corp certification. And actually, it was really, really nice to work in that project during the pandemic, and whilst we were rebuilding the business. And we always had the approach of involving everyone in the business that wanted to be involved, because we feel like that's how we can move it forward. And it's been really amazing to kind of work with different people in that context. We have 2 distinct groups in the business that are leading this work: our sustainability committee and our sustainability champions. The sustainability committee being people like myself and others that are representing other areas of the business, like facilities, people, governance. So everyone is leading their areas within the framework. And I've been supporting the 2 groups to drive that work.
And when it comes to B Corp as a framework, were you receiving some support from the B Corp team? Because I think B Corp, as you said, Elliot, in London, it's really well implemented. I've seen quite a few co-working brands, even or flex brands in London, having the certification. And I think now the rest of Europe, is starting, as always, to catch up to London. So we do have a lot of our audience who is into that. But I think people are still a little bit unfamiliar with the process of becoming a B Corp. So when you said, okay, so your head of marketing brought it on the table, you said, okay, we want to do it. Then how did you start with B Corp? You went on the website, you asked for help, or how does that work?
Yes, so they make it quite accessible, and I think this is one of the powerful things about B Corp is it's quite accessible for everyone that wants to start their journey. I normally say that it's a really good hook to get people engaged in that sustainability work, because it makes it quite tangible. As Elliot mentioned, we were kind of doing a few things and different things, but we didn't really have a concrete idea on how that actually all came together. And the B Corp is that. And B Corp looks into 5 impact areas. So it doesn't look only into your environmental impact, but also looks into your workers, your governance, your customers, your communities, and also environment. So it's 5 impact areas. And what it does is basically an assessment, and you can do that assessment online. It's available for everyone, so you can all jump on their website and actually do the assessment yourselves. And then you really understand what the areas are you're doing well and what areas you need to work on. The fact that it's so accessible really helps businesses understand, okay, I can actually achieve these, because the criteria is that you have to achieve 80 points as a minimum score. And if you do, you then get the certification. Of course, then you will be audited and you need to make sure that all your answers and everything are correct. But actually, that's the process, is doing the assessment, get audited, and then if you achieve their benchmark, which is 80 points at the moment, then you get the certification. So it's as simple as that. So it's very complicated, and it's really helpful because the way it's designed is really looking into 5 impact areas and really giving you that understanding on where your business is doing well and what areas you can improve.
And Elliot, what would be the before and after B Corp at Work.Life according to you?
Good question. I mean, as I said, like I think from the way that we think about our sustainability goals, it's made life much clearer because it's given us that overall framework, which is what it's designed to do. I think from an overall sentiment, you can't underestimate how important this is to various stakeholders in our business, and that's a real learning for me. It's just, take our team, for example. We've got a team of about 65, and the majority of them are engaged in what we do. Anna spoke about the sustainability committee and the champions across our business, and I'd say the majority of our business are involved in some way against B Corp and our sustainability strategy going forward. So what it's done is really galvanized everybody around what we're doing. And as I said, it wasn't hard to galvanize everybody because our team, particularly the type of people that we hire, are really passionate about this anyway.
And I'll just add as well the fact that, with B Corp, another strength of the framework is you need to recertify every 3 years. So once you get the certification, you have to continue to improve your sustainability credentials. So it's really helpful as well for us because it helped define our long-term sustainability strategy. And I think that's really key as well as we continue this journey.
So, for instance, is it the way for you guys now, the roadmap you have on like improving your sustainability efforts is based on the score you got from B Corp? Is that correct?
Yes, so the score is also our internal metric for sustainability work. So actually, we have a defined company goal for this year to achieve a score of 100 by a self-assessment. So every quarter, what we do is reassess ourselves against the framework to understand where we are. And we have set ourselves a goal to be on the 100 points by the end of this year, financial year. And that's really exciting because it's, again, making it quite concrete. And we then are able to design the rest of the framework and the rest of the roadmap based off that.
And what would you say across? So Anna, you said that B Corp has like 5 different aspects that make your score your score. What would you guys say has been the most challenging aspect for you to work on? Which one was the most challenging or difficult?
The environment. Reason being, we lease all our buildings. As Elliot mentioned, we have 15 of them, and we lease them from different landlords. And collating the data and understanding the impact through the data has been the biggest challenge. Understanding how we can collate the data the best way possible, but also looking at upstream of operations and understand actually we need to start having the conversations before we acquire the buildings with our potential landlords. And I think we've designed a good framework on that as well to make sure that we do that going forward. And so, the last year, and our environmental heroes of that area have been working very hard to get that data, and we're very happy to say that we managed to get the data for the past year, and that's really helped us to kind of understand what we can do and continue to do to improve going forward.
What I
Elliot,
would,
do you
what I
feel?
was, yeah, what I was going to say is, for anybody thinking about whether this is right for them, the important point is it's not perfect. You know, they're working
Mm.
on updating the framework. It's definitely not perfect. But whether it's B Corp or another framework, for us, having that way to organize thinking and organize various work streams has been valuable. And as I said, a way to galvanize your team and other stakeholders around what you're doing. So I'd recommend it.
And yeah, it feels from our experience looking at different brands also going into B Corp, it seems very complete. And I think what you said, Elliot, at the beginning, it's also very important. It gives structure because what we see from co-working spaces all over the world is that everybody has a lot of goodwill. Everybody is very willing to do things for sustainability. But I think the where do I start and how do I structure my thinking is always a very difficult one. But one of the things, and Elliot, because you just said stakeholders, so how did you involve your community into becoming a B Corp business, and have you changed things according to the feedback on B Corp on how to become better? Have you changed things for the community somehow?
Yes, one of the new forums, or relatively new forums we've set up is our member board, and our sustainability goals is something that we address with them. And then more generally, we're always getting feedback. We celebrate. You know, we celebrated our certification, B certification, with our members, and you know, continue to engage them in what we're doing, however we can, whether it's through our newsletters and through any other comms that we're putting out.
And also through some key initiatives, so they're also part of the journey. And
Yeah.
we've done a recycling drive, not this quarter, the previous quarter, and we managed to achieve 70% recycling rate through working with our members. And the prize to get was to actually then donate to a charity of their choice. So we've always been finding ways to continue to engage them, definitely.
And out of the entire journey, and that's maybe a question for each of you, what are the things you've learned in the process regarding work life?
Go on, Anna. Do you wanna go first?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been, one of the things I love about Work.Life and working here is the fact that throughout the last, since we started, hiring people that are aligned with our values has always been a big focus. And that actually has been amazing to see in this work because the fact that everyone is so passionate is almost like it's part of our DNA to do this work because it's the right alignment for us. And for me, that's been the most incredible thing. I knew it was going to be the case, but actually working with so many passionate people, and we all do these on top of our day-to-day jobs, and we all have other things that are going on, but actually continue to have that as a priority for us in our roles, and embedding this in our business has been really, really incredible to experience, and that's been a really nice learning for me as well.
What
Yeah, I mean,
about you, Elliot?
I'd have to follow suit really, and say something similar, which is just I've seen how important it is to our team, and like Anna said, everyone's got day jobs, and I've seen just how passionate people are about this. So it gives us confidence that we're on the right track with what we're doing, and it's not just because we find it important as a leadership team or senior management team, that actually everyone is energized by what we're doing.
And we have a question from Peter, who is watching us from Berlin. And he's asking how big should be a business to become a B Corp certified?
Good question. You can actually check that on the website. So there is, depending on the size of the business, there is something they have, which is called a B Corp pending certification, because you have not achieved the correct size of business to do that. I believe it's about 50 people, but want to check on their website.
Yeah.
But they do have different kind of sub categories, if you were to call them. And if you are a smaller business, you can still embark in the journey, and you can still access their impact assessment, which I think it's helpful to do in any case.
And another question
I think on that,
sorry.
just to add on that, I do know smaller businesses, much smaller businesses than ours that are B Corp certified. So I'm sure there are options, and I know that Anna, this is right. I think that B Corp have different acceptance requirements, certification requirements for different size of business. So if you're a multinational, you're expected to perform at a different level than if you're a startup with a few people.
And also depending on your own sector. So depending on your sector, you will get a different assessment as well. So it's tailored to each business, really.
And we had another question about the application process. Someone is asking, how heavy was it, the application process for you guys? And also, how many people did it involved in the team?
Yes. So we were, I think, about 11 of us initially. Again, it was a bit of an interesting time because we were rebuilding the business after the pandemic, and
Oh, wow. Okay.
it was during that time, and I think there was a lot of backlog of work from B Corp as well. So it took us about like 1 year from the first assessment to actually submit the final assessment. And then it took us about another year to wait for an auditor to actually then certify us. So in total, it was about 2 years.
2 years process. Okay. And one of my questions for you guys was, as we do have a lot of co-working people watching this live, what would be your number one piece of advice for people watching us now thinking about going into B Corp as a process?
I mean, I would recommend it highly. I think, as I said, whether it's B Corp or another framework, having a structure behind your objectives. And Pauline, you touched on how difficult it is without that structure. Having that framework, I think, just gives you, first of all, it takes off the pressure for you to be redefining things you don't need to be redefining. And while B Corp's not perfect, and there'll be things within this framework that perhaps aren't relevant to your business, whether it's B Corp or another framework, I recommend having that structure.
Agree. I think is get started. I think that's the first step. I agree with Elliot. Is finding a framework is really helpful. As you mentioned as well, Pauline, there is no one size fits all in sustainability, and that's also why sometimes it's a little bit scary, because where do I start, and what's relevant for me or not? This is one of the challenges in sustainability as a whole, but also, of course, within our industry as well, and that makes things sometimes a little bit scary, because where do we go? But also is an opportunity for innovation and for understanding like what is the best fit for us and for our business and for our business models. I think I would say as well, speak with others that have started that journey. And I mean, I'm very happy to speak with anyone that would like to talk about it. Please reach out and understand like how we can support each other, because I think there is a lot to do there as well, and how we continue to collaborate in this topic.
And one of the things I've seen passing through yesterday, I think you guys released the sustainability report. Am I correct?
Yes.
Our first impact report. Yeah.
Impact report, sorry. So can you talk to us about it? And also maybe, is it accessible to the public or?
It definitely is. Yeah. So we released it on Monday. So it's hot off the press. And really, it's first of all, it's our first impact report. But it's something I'm particularly proud of, because a huge amount of work has gone into it, into obviously putting the document together, but also just the work that fed into this report. And I think, unlike some reports I read, or impact reports I read, this I'm a bit biased perhaps, but this is an honest reflection of where we are as a business. So it covers all the stuff we've already done, but also shows how ambitious we are and the things we haven't yet done and the work that we want to do over the next year, 2, 3 years. So yes, it's available. Please, we're happy to share it with anybody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
we can.
I
Go
would
for it,
just
Vanessa.
I would just add, I mean, Elliot mentioned about how important it was for us to be really honest about it. And, you know, we read a lot of other impact reports, and again, is making it accessible. Like, it's not making sustainability something that is really hard to achieve, because it's not perfect, and there is a lot of work that we still have to do, and that's fine. But we also want to share like what the challenges were, what the learnings were, and how others can also get some inspiration from that, perhaps. And it's there, it's on our website, so please go there and download the report.
Nice, thank you. We'll make a link in the event recap for people to go and check it out. And maybe my last question to you guys before I let you go would be, where do you put the focus next when it comes to sustainability and impact?
Cool. So yeah, well, I mean, we've as we said, we have a clear roadmap now, and we will continue to deliver that. One area that we would like to focus a little bit more this year is to understand our carbon footprint. We started that process last year, and some of the results are already on the impact report, but we want to tune that a little bit more, and we want to refine that a little bit more and understand how we can improve that going forward.
Nice. Well, thank you very much. It was very cool to have you with us to share the whole journey. I felt, although I've heard and I've seen a lot of things about B Corp, every time I speak about it with others, I feel I learn always. So thanks for being also super open on your own journey and talking about it like that.
Pleasure.
Amazing.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
I would also invite everyone who's watching this now or who will watch the replay later to not be shy and push the door of any work life they might come across in London and across the UK for now, just because there are like amazing spaces. So guys, don't be shy and go see Elliot, Anna and the team. I'm sure you'll have a great time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Have a lovely day, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.